A chat with Julian Brock.
Hello there. Thank you for clicking on that link. Today I'm going to interview Julian Brock. He's a catcher for University of Louisiana Lafayette. Julian, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Julian, before we start talking about, what's going on there in the University of Louisiana Lafayette, I'm asking this question to every single catcher that I'm interviewing. And I want you to be honest with me and, with the audience. How many times per game, when you're catching, how many times per game do you usually get jammed?
Jammed? All right. So it happens more often when somebody has a more bite or more like a sink or two seam or arm side movement. But I mean, it just depends. If a guy's throwing pretty hard, it can happen multiple times in the game, but it just really differs on the pitcher. But if a guy has more arm side run and it's just sinking like no other, then yeah, it happens a good. It could happen a good 3-4 times a game. It just depends on the pitcher, really.
How many times? When was the last time you get like jammed? You're like, man, today was bad. Today was like, man, I need to work on
Uh,
these.
Actually, yes. Today, actually, I caught a bullpen, and this guy, he's been struggling lately, and he's a big sinker guy, and he throws 94, 97, has bumped to 8, and it happened today. It's almost hard to like try to like what's the word I'm trying to think of, like expect it, but if you expect it, then you'll get caught. Focus on that, just on this part of the play, and you'll get lost on the rest of the play, and you won't get the best presentation you can get.
Man, I remember catching this guy, Mark Capel, and then that's what he throws. He throws two seamer. He doesn't like how to throw four seam.
Yeah,
And then I was positioning myself like inside. Oh man, he got me. Next pitch, I'm gonna go more like inside. And he was like, the ball was falling my glove. I got jammed like 3 times back to back, and he was
yeah.
bad. The guy was on Rapsodo that day. He took 98. It
Hmm.
was like 96, 90, 95. But I mean, it's part of the job. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to wear it. Okay, Julian. These videos are gonna be seen by by youth players and some high school guys. And then my first question will be, how was your recruiting process? How tough was your recruiting process, and how many offers do you have back then?
Back then, I guess you could consider me a late bloomer. Like I didn't start receiving my offers till about, I guess you could say prime time my recruiting. So like sophomore year going into junior year. All of my during that summer, that's a big summer. I'd say I had about 12 offers, 12 different offers, 12 different schools, whether it's JUCO or D1. And yeah, that was a fun time. It's always cool seeing like where you would end up in the most non-cocky way. It's just something cool, and you get to really breathe it in, get to know all these different coaches and different things. But yeah, then all these it all helps with all the summer events and all the team that you play for, all the different networking that the coaches have with the different schools and different things like that.
What was your
Yeah.
top three? Top three, like, okay. What was the decision like? Okay, University of Louisiana Lafayette, these or these. Where should I go? And why you went to Louisiana? Lafayette.
Uh, Let me think. It was definitely UL. Then there's a few big D ones, but I was kind of shaky on them because of the catches they already had in the class and just different reasons. But there were a couple Big 12 and a couple American Conference schools, but it was between UL, Tulane, and probably San Jack,
San Jack. Okay.
McLennan, McLennan.
And what was the thing that, okay, I'm going to Louisiana? The coaching, the facility. What you
Uh,
recommend? What do you recommend to this guy that is watching you right now?
I'd say so. Coach Tony Robichaux, he's a man. of a lot of wisdom. He was the head coach at one point before he passed. Before this summer I was coming to university, and he has a really impacted a lot of players, and the things he preached, which is you baseball doesn't identify you. It's what you do, but it does. Don't let it identify you. Don't let it impact on how you treat people or other things. But definitely Coach Robe and just the past excellence that the program's had. I mean, in 2015 they were number one ranked team in the country. It was something done. They had like they had like 6 losses that year, and they lost in the supers against Ole Miss, I believe. But yeah, it's just a great place to be, and the fan base ridiculous here.
Julian, now let's talk about a little bit about catching. For you, what is the proper way to catch a pitch? Some guys, they go more like this way.
Yeah,
Some guys go more like the L position. Can you tell us a little bit about what is your signature behind the home plate? Let's say.
I don't have my glove with me, but so as the way the game is going, it's starting to go more towards the angle down, so you can really receive it. But this form was something that I basically picked up around December-ish, and I've been working on it ever since. And it's really just going up with the ball, making it one motion versus here. You stay here, then you just catch it. But I mean, it also benefits you on trying to get the low pitches, because I mean, that's the whole point, turn balls into strikes.
Right.
And so that's just the best way. It does take a lot of reps to get into, a lot of reps to perfect it. I haven't even perfected it. It's still a hard thing, but especially with these guys that throw harder, it's just difficult. But definitely angle it down a little bit. Now, I'm not like, I know some guys, they exaggerate it during their drills, but like, it's just make it one movement. and yeah, that's how I think the game's going. All the catchers in the game are doing it. JT Realmuto, Wilson Contreras, that's how the game's going, in my opinion.
Right. Also, are you like a one knee down catcher? Are you more like secondary position catcher all the way? And why you do it?
So I've always been one knee down with nobody on, then with 2 strikes or runners on base. I always stay up. But I was actually just talking to my coach about this, and basically it's just I stay one knee down most of the time now, because most balls that are going to be blocked, he had a stack S and some other statistics over it, and most of the balls that are blocked, they're in the typical range in between your shoulders. And those balls are also, whenever you're one knee down, it gives you more time to react if you want to catch it or block it. It's because it's not like you're from 2 knees and you have to drop down and block. But yeah, and also, I mean, guys aren't running as much as they used to anymore. Cause whether it's they're not trying to get hurt, it's just not that big of a deal. I mean, a lot of guys they're just not running no more. I think like the last game I caught, I mean, nobody runs. They just don't. And if it is, it's a hit and run. And most of the time, they're either fouling it off, hitting it. But for me, throwing out of one knee, I like it. It's something that I'm still getting a feel for, but it's definitely something that's doable, and it doesn't mess you up on you trying to throw the ball as well.
Man, and who's gonna run on you, man? Between innings, you coming down, you throw like 1-9 to second base. After throwing that, who's gonna run? Nobody. Chill out. Huh?
Yeah.
That's your pop time right now, somewhere around there, like 1-9.
Yeah, I mean,
1-9
like
half.
in high school, all the showcases, they had me like a 1.82, but I mean, that's not realistic in my opinion. It's just, but I mean, I'd say in game, I'm around a 1.9 to 2.0. More like a 1.95 to a 2.0, but still, I mean, that's just in game. In game's totally different perspective.
Yeah. Julian, okay, let's talk about a little bit about how you guys go after every single game, you and the starter. Pre-game, more like pre-game work. How do you guys do it? Like you guys go hitter by hitter. Do you guys have like this analytic department that they give you these data on every single batter you guys gonna be facing? How that works for you guys there at University of Louisiana?
Yeah, so most of the pitch calling comes from our pitching coach and head coach. But um, coach usually lets me see like an idea of some guys, whether they're full happy or more backside hitters or very spread it out. But most of the pitch calling comes from our coaches. But he'll tell me like if something's working a lot more usual than not, whether it's getting more to your glove side, throwing inside the right-handed hitters, or that changeup's working more, so throw it more to right-handed hitters, so swing right over their bat. It's just different things. I mean, that's something that me and pitcher communicate with, and I get an eye for it whenever I'm catching them pregame.
Yeah, Julian, another question. What's going on with this guy, Arrighetti?
Oh, dude,
Lights out. What's going? I mean, can you describe that guy? I mean, is he more like a laid back guy? Does he really
no,
work hard behind the scenes? What's going on? That hair. I mean,
dude, that dude, he is everything. He's a dude, man. He's from my area. He's from Cinco Ranch, and he's from yeah. And dude, he shoves. When he's on the mound, he gets everybody fired up. I mean, he's not a laid back guy at all. He grinds. He does everything, man. He does everything right. He's gonna be he's one of the top pitchers in college baseball right now.
yeah. I mean, I have Spencer Arrighetti, ERA 0.90
he's
40 innings and 40 innings and
yeah
40
he's
innings pitch.
top three pitchers in the country right now. He's one of them. Just a stat that came out actually, and there's only three people under a 1 ERA that have thrown more than 40 innings, and he's one of them.
Hey,
But yeah,
Julian, I see this flag. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I see this flag behind you. Do you have a
yeah.
roommate, a Latino roommate, or
No, that's me. I'm Colombian.
are you Colombian?
Sí, señor.
So I mean, Colombian, they play baseball. We have some guys, Alfaro from the Marlins, playing for the Marlins,
Yeah,
and another catcher. The question: do you know how to play soccer?
soccer, man. It was always growing up. I always have a bat in my hand. It was never. I mean, I played like with family events and stuff, but it was never something that I took to heart and continued playing it. I kind of regret it, but I mean, it's something. Yeah,
That's a good cardio right there. You should try it.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
cardio is not the best. Me and cardio get along, but
Hey, Julian, what do you recommend to this guy, this 13U or 12U guy that is watching this video right now? He's a catcher and he wants to get better. What do you recommend? What do you tell him right now? Hey, dude, I recommend you to do this and not to do these.
the two things that are beneficial, and coaches everywhere will see this, is your fundamental work, which is, of course, catching, throwing, blocking. Those are the things you always got to work on. And two is your communication and being a leader. That's something that I struggled with my freshman year, but I've really worked on that. And now I'm a very vocal catcher. Many people have told me that. And but yeah, I mean, the fundamentals and being a leader, those are the two biggest things. I mean, there's so many different drills you could do to be more fundamentally sound,
Mhm.
and those things show. I mean, something that people see, people notice.
Hey, Julian, are you ready for some questions from my
Oh yeah,
followers?
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, I got Jack Monson from Houston. How hard was your recruiting process? What to do and what not to do?
What not to do. This is one thing that people tell me. Even my mom was the first one to tell me this. Was you get an offer and you want to jump at it. You just want to jump at it because it's whether it's your first offer or this big school, your dream school. Don't just go for any school. Go to the school that's best fit for you, best situation, whether it's no scholarship money, or whatever the case may be. That's the biggest thing with recruiting is kids want to go to the A&M, the UT. They don't. They get lost. I mean, then they'll become a D1 bounce back there at a JUCO. Next thing you know, but I mean, that's just how it is.
I have Ernest Thompson from San Diego. Carlos, can you ask Julian for some throws down tips?
Third on tips.
Yeah.
This is yeah. So always, I had trouble with this last year as well in the fall. Make sure you catch the ball first. Last thing you want is it to bobble in your hand. You don't get a good grip on it. You end up throwing it with your palm or just your fingers. Make sure you always catch the ball first and be fundamentally sound. That's where it comes back to that. And if you have an arm, showcase your arm. Like that's how I am. I'm more of I have a good arm, and that's one of my biggest strengths. And I always try to be more fundamentally sound so I can let my arm catch up and let it eat. Because I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
finish it.
then yeah, just let your arm eat. Then, but if your arm's not there as much and you're quick, more high twitch, agile guy, just be fundamental and sound with it, but be quick as possible. Like one of our catchers, he doesn't have the best arm, but he's quick and he still throws a really good pop time and still gets it there. It's just quick.
I have another one, David Gonzalez from Miami. Hey, Julian, big fan of your game. As a young catcher, what should I focus more to develop my game behind the plate? Similar from the first question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
So
had something else.
definitely like do as much little work as you can, whether it's just ball in hand drills, anything. I mean, that's just another thing. Another thing I really enjoy is going on YouTube and just watching the big league catchers just frame, throw, block, just big plays. I mean, that's just something that you can kind of picture yourself doing and mirroring yourself. But definitely always working on your craft. I mean, getting a machine like with your dad or with another catcher or with your buddy to set up a machine, do different drills. There's a million things you could do. I mean, it's something that's you got to do to keep your game sharpened. But
I have another question, and it's coming from me. Who gives the best spread before and after a game?
the best what?
The best meal, the best spread.
The best meal?
Yeah, before and after a game. You go to play this cool, and then after before the game you go, man, I didn't really like that meal. Or sometimes you go like, man, these guys have some
I could tell you
stuff
what.
here.
So the cooking club at UL has the best food hands down. After every game, we always get fed at home games, and it could be anything from man. Just last week we got like a big old T-bone steak like with mashed potatoes, green beans, a roll, and a Twinkie, and like I was like, God, like I can only imagine because I mean they're cooking for 40 plus guys. I mean that's a lot of food, a lot of prepping that goes into it. I mean, God, and that's just one of the meals. I mean, it's always something good. It's like one of the best things I look forward to after the game.
Hey, Julian, the time is up. Do you have something else you want to share with us before we leave?
That's all I got for you. I mean, just anybody watching this, make sure you're grinding, never stop. I mean, what else are you gonna do besides keep working and never letting up?
Hey, Julian, thank you for your time. I know you have to go and study for a pop quiz tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, you guys are busy right now. I appreciate your
Yeah,
time, and I'll keep watching your game here on ESPN, and I will see you here around summertime. Thank you for
awesome.
your time.
Thank you.
And you guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.